I'm Chloe. I am 21 years old. This is a secret I've kept close to my heart. I'm captivated not by substances, not by spirits, but by a world of my own making. Something more profound. There's a certain comfort I find in solitude that makes it hard to imagine a night without it. Thank you, my cherished subscribers, for your unwavering support of Infidelity, tales that stir the heart. Your presence means so much to me. Now let us immerse ourselves in the heart of the story. It began at 18, a time filled with curiosity and a quiet loneliness, as I softly yearned for something elusive, something I couldn't quite grasp. In that moment, I learned to retreat into my own mind, a delicate sanctuary, a place that nestled in my thoughts, stirring emotions within me that were entirely new at the outset. I indulged in it once a week. Then it unfolded. Each evening has become a cherished ritual. I long for it before I drift into slumber. It feels like a gentle ritual, a moment of quiet reflection and intimacy with my own thoughts. As refreshing as a cool sip of water, my body remains tense until I've found that mental release, until I have truly escaped into that world. At times, I whisper to myself that it's merely a part of the everyday flow. Yet, within the depths of my being, I am aware. It transcends. I created a hidden realm, enveloping my thoughts, a sacred practice, gentle melodies. Softly dim the lights. Only focus. Just me and the gentle rhythm of my own imagination. I am fully aware of the ways to soothe my own soul, where to let my mind wander, how to gracefully let go of the day. I am present. I press my face into the softness of my pillow. I share soft secrets with the silence. No one will ever know. And when it comes to an end, I rest in quietude, content, but burdened by a heavy heart. Isolated. I kept it to myself, a secret held close to my heart. I was unable to share it. It was a cherished secret, held close until he arrived. He is known as Ethan, the man who shares my mother's life. She encountered him on a romantic platform, and in just a few weeks, he found himself in our home, comfortably settled on our couch, sipping from our cups, as if he were meant to be there from the very beginning. I felt a deep aversion to the thought of inviting an unfamiliar presence into our world, particularly not within my intimate realm of thought. But then I caught a glimpse of him. Ethan was different from the image I had in my mind, alluring, not in a frightening manner. No, this was the kind of presence that stirred a deep, instinctive response within you. Strong, commanding, a rich voice, a jawline so sharp it seemed to carve the air, and salt and pepper hair that gave him the allure of a leading man from an enchanting love story. And then there were his arms, sculpted and strong, revealing just enough to set my thoughts adrift. I began to observe him from the hallway as he moved through our home, his confidence filling the space, the controlled power in his movements. I felt the weight of my own quiet world being disrupted. Yet I found myself unable to look away. As I settled into my nightly routine of introspection, thoughts of him began to intrude. His presence in the house, his rich voice, his easy laughter, the way he looked at my mother. A mix of admiration and a strange, unfamiliar jealousy began to brew within me. My quiet, safe world now had an unpredictable element. And that evening, the evening when everything transformed, I was fully immersed in my thoughts, lost in a labyrinth of emotion. My mind was a storm of loneliness and yearning. The quiet hum of my own heartbeat filled my ears. A soft sigh escaped me, and in that moment of vulnerability, his name slipped from my lips. A whisper I didn't even mean to voice. Ethan. And then I slowly opened my eyes. He stood in my doorway, a figure in the dim light, observing. And the most challenging part was that I couldn't move. The air around us felt heavy and charged, filled with an unexpected, forbidden understanding. Ethan lingered in that moment. His hand clutched the door frame, a silent testament to the intensity of the moment. He seemed to be struggling with what he saw. His gaze locked on mine, not with judgment but with something else. And I held his gaze steady. Perhaps I ought to have looked away. Perhaps I should have pretended he saw nothing, behaved as if it were merely a moment of weakness. Yet I chose not to. I found myself unable to do so. My vulnerability was laid bare for him to see. The gentle rise and fall of my chest, the unshed tears glistening in my eyes. I could indeed feel the quickening rhythm of my heart, a silent story passing between us. Yet it was the depth of his gaze, those deep gray eyes that seemed to see right into my soul. They held a deep empathy, not merely inquisitive, not merely surprised, but understanding. I had anticipated feeling shame, to experience a sense of being exposed, filled with a deep sense of vulnerability. Yet what I experienced was a deep sensation of being seen, truly seen for the first time. Something profound, alluring. A gentle tension enveloped me, and I experienced a flicker of connection. The tender longing that stirs within me found a mirror. With a newfound strength, Ethan took a step forward, not into the room but back into the hallway, pulling the door almost closed, giving me back my privacy. His strong silhouette disappeared, and silence lingered in the air. But nothing was the same. I watched the spot where he had stood. My own breath was just as swift as his had seemed. He was wrestling with his own emotions. I could sense it, but I found myself at a loss for what to do next. My secret was no longer just mine. He remained silent for the rest of the night. Instead, he simply understood. His gaze, when it met mine later, held a new weight. In that moment, clarity washed over me. I was no longer just a girl lost in her thoughts. I was a woman with a secret that was now shared, a dangerous and thrilling bond. The thought resonated within me, welcoming a connection I knew was wrong. In an instant, the heaviness of everything enveloped me. What had I done? This was my mother's partner. Wasn't this a mistake? Yet my heart remained unbothered. It yearned for that electric connection, the exhilarating allure of the unattainable, of feeling his presence so near. Even if it was merely through his gaze, I felt like a delicate thread stretched to its limit, on the verge of breaking. I inhaled sharply. As I replayed the moment in my mind, Ethan's voice from a later conversation echoed in my thoughts. He had found me alone in the kitchen, his voice a gentle caress. "If you ever need to talk, Chloe, just say the word. I'll listen." The rhythm of my breath hitched. I understood the unspoken question in his eyes. He was presenting me with an escape, a gentle invitation to share my burdens. He was offering me a lifeline. Yet there was a part of me that hesitated to embrace it. I found myself breathing heavily now. My fingers traced patterns on my blanket. My thoughts had drifted away from my imaginary world. They rested upon him. About Ethan. I raised my gaze and found his eyes waiting for me across the hall days later. And that was the moment I caught sight of it. The desire in his eyes mirrored the deep yearning that stirred within me. The same profound yearning. "Please talk to me," I murmured softly to myself, a wish sent into the universe. Whispers linger softly. His expression transformed when I finally approached him, a subtle softening of his features. His lips parted as though he had words lingering on the edge. Yet silence lingered. He led me to the quiet patio, a deliberate, unhurried step. We sat in the twilight. His presence, rich and calming, enveloped the senses. In that fleeting moment, I sensed he might reach out. I imagined him offering a comforting embrace, closing the emotional distance between us. But instead, he lingered just inches away. We were intimately connected by the secret we shared. I could sense his warmth, a gentle heat enveloping me. His gaze enveloped me, a presence that lingered like a gentle caress. I found myself restless, my hands fidgeting in my lap. The longing within me to speak was profound. "Indescribable, Chloe," he said, his voice a gentle warmth. "What you're feeling. Do you truly believe that? Do you understand?" I found myself caught in a whirlwind of uncertainty, yet my thoughts were consumed by an intense desire to finally express what lay within me. "I do." I inhaled deeply, my hands clenching, and with that he helped me take the final step. Not with a physical touch but with words. He encouraged me to speak, to let out the torrent of emotions I had kept locked away. His patient listening, his quiet understanding. As I spoke, I watched him, his focus entirely on me. My gaze lingered on the way he listened intently, the empathy in his expression. It only enhanced his allure, deepening the connection that surrounded him. Even more captivating. It was more than his looks or his strength. It was the empathy. His focused presence exuded a captivating grace. His effortless understanding filled the space between us. I found myself in a state of vulnerability, entirely captivated. My mind wandered to vivid possibilities, not of the body but of the soul, a connection that could heal the loneliness I had harbored. And then his gaze met mine. His gray eyes, deep and knowing, inquired once more, "Do you feel better?" This time, I embraced the moment without a second thought. Yes, Ethan. I believe that was the defining moment. Everything transformed. I felt the weight of the moment, aware of the threshold I was on the verge of crossing. I understood the aftermath, but in that moment, the intensity of our shared secret was overwhelming. All I could think about was the depth of my connection to him, how deeply I felt seen by him. There are instances that linger in the heart, in existence. Some moments linger forever, etched in time. Instances that transform everything with a single word. This belonged to me. Ethan sat there, fully clothed, a pillar of strength in the soft light. His chest rose and fell in a steady rhythm. Yet those eyes of his, those deep gray eyes, revealed a quiet surrender to the moment, a hint of a boundary already crossed. And so had I as well. He leaned in closer, and I paused. My heart raced with such intensity. His hand glided gently with a touch of uncertainty, and gently swept a strand of hair away from my cheek. His fingers lingered a moment too long. A delightful tremor coursed through me. My skin yearned for a deeper emotional connection. I longed for him to understand me completely, but he was taking his time, as if he desired to hear every thought, to experience each moment of what was unfolding. He sought to carefully draw out the very secrets I had longed to share for weeks. "Ethan," I whispered, my voice barely audible. His silence spoke volumes. Rather, he leaned back, giving me space. His gaze remained fixed on me. His presence was a question, gently inviting me to continue, as if he were discovering every layer of my soul, myself. I gently bit my lip, opening up completely under his patient gaze, yearning for something deeper. My fingers trembled slightly in my lap. He lingered for a moment. "If you wish for me to go, this is the moment to speak up." Yet sending him away was the furthest thought from my mind. "Keep listening," I gently requested. And in that moment he leaned forward again, fully attentive. His gaze lingered on my face. I felt exposed beneath his watchful eyes, not merely in body but entirely laid bare in soul, as if he could perceive the depths of my mind, every desire, every hidden truth I'd long concealed. His quiet focus felt like a soft touch on my skin, and I inhaled sharply, my voice quivering as I spoke of my deepest fears. He drew closer, his voice a gentle whisper near my ear. "You've been longing for this, haven't you? To be heard." "Indeed." I spoke deep into the night, sensing the warmth of understanding that lingered between us, heightening the connection. Exquisite relief. He savored every word, discovering the depths of my being. He yearned to imprint every confession in his mind, each breath taken in wonder, each soft sound of my voice, each delicate tremor of emotion. And then I beheld it. The dawn was breaking. As the first light hit the window, a rush of surprise washed over me. My heart fluttered. We had talked for hours. Dense and formidable, the weight of our new bond loomed. I stood still. This moment had never danced through my thoughts. But now that it was tangible, I found myself questioning if I could truly handle the consequences. He noticed the uncertainty in my gaze. He looked at me deeply, his voice a gentle whisper filled with warmth. "I will be careful," he spoke softly, "but I want you to know you're not alone in this." And I embraced it. He stood to leave, one hand on the doorknob, the other reaching out to gently squeeze my shoulder. His gaze met mine, a lingering connection as he moved away with deliberate grace. With intention. A soft breath escaped my lips. The stretch of the night had been profound, almost overwhelming, causing my mind to feel both exhausted and electrified. "Take a deep breath, Chloe," he whispered softly. "Let it all settle." I made an effort. I shut my eyes, letting his words envelop me. His understanding was a gentle exploration, unfolding slowly. He connected with me in a way that stirred emotions I had never known before. A soft sound of relief escaped my lips. The ache of my loneliness lingered, but a new feeling intertwined, a blend of hope and fear, as he had filled a void within me completely. We both lingered, the air heavy with unspoken promises. "Your mind is truly captivating," he sighed as he finally left. My fingers trembled as he went. The night had been a slow, deep rhythm of confession and understanding. I felt completely seen and understood. Felt like a mistake. Each aspect held an allure that was tantalizingly out of reach. Yet it resonated deeply within me. His empathy felt more intimate than any kiss. His hands had not held my hips, but he had held my gaze, drawing me nearer. With each shared secret, our bond grew stronger, creating an intimate atmosphere that enveloped the space. More intense. "Ethan." I find myself unable to turn back. A soft breath escaped my lips. "I'm ready for what comes next," he had murmured softly. "I wanted to truly hear you." And I did. The friendship tightened, then surged with warmth and danger. It took my breath away. I called out his name in my mind, clinging to the memory of our conversation. He followed up with a simple text moments later. "We'll figure this out together." We melted into a new reality. Our thoughts intertwined, heavy and unsteady. Our souls entwined, our futures swirling in a captivating dance. The silence stretched between us in the following days, heavy with the weight of unspoken truths, as we both understood that the path behind us had faded away. It began with my quiet loneliness. Now each day feels incomplete without seeing him, Ethan. The mere thought of his name sent a delightful shiver through me. What we shared should have filled me with regret, yet it awakened a deep desire within me, captivated each time he passed by. Each time his rich voice drifted in from the next room, a longing stirred within me. I craved his presence as if it were essential to my very being. Following that night, everything transformed. Our touches, when they happened by accident, had transformed into something intentional. Our gazes held a deeper connection. We discovered moments to steal away for quiet conversations, evading my mom's watchful eye, like two secretive souls entwined in a delicate dance. Yet it felt far from playful. It felt like a deep, instinctual drive to connect. Ethan began to check in on me each night, a gentle caution in his movements. At times, he would simply offer a quiet nod from the hallway. His gaze would travel up from my book to my eyes, feigning casualness, only for me to see the depth of his concern in that fleeting moment. His words discovered my hidden anxieties on other evenings. He would gently rouse me from my solitude with soft, intimate questions that stirred something deep within me. His presence felt firm and protective. He delighted in playfully challenging my lonely thoughts. "Whisper to me your worries, Chloe," he would offer, and I would respond with a soft sigh, yearning for his guidance. "You bring clarity to Ethan," I once told him. "Your presence is a comfort I feel each evening." With him there unfolded a deeper layer of trust. Another memory etched into my being. He opened me up to possibilities I had never experienced before, leaving an imprint that lingered. It was a connection that transcended mere friendship. There were evenings when he would bring me a warm cup of tea, his firm hands brushing mine as he passed it to me, or mornings when we would quietly cross paths in the garage. As I sat on the steps, he'd pause his work, his presence igniting a spark of surprise and warmth within me. It was unrefined. It felt forbidden, yet it was undeniably exquisite. I ceased retreating into my mind, not due to a lack of desire for solitude, but because nothing compared to the connection he brought me. I found myself captivated by his insights, his scent lingering in the air, and the way his voice resonated softly in my ear as he offered advice one afternoon. I returned home early and discovered him working on his car, the light reflecting off his focused expression. From my gaze, I absorbed him completely. He lifted his gaze and offered a playful smile. "Is the meal prepared, my dear?" he joked. I approached, letting my purse slip from my grasp, my heart fluttering. "Are you truly unaware of the time?" I retorted playfully. He drew me close for a brief, friendly hug. His embrace was firm, and I could sense the protective warmth of his friendship. I leaned into him, filled with a confused longing, and whispered softly, "Thank you for listening." That day I sat on the living room couch talking with him, feeling the warmth of his presence as he listened, his attention firmly on me, as if my words were the only thing he ever desired to hear. The sound of the garage door remained absent from our senses. My heart raced, dear Mom. Ethan gently pulled away as I hurried to compose myself. We were exhilarated, hearts racing, just moments from our deep conversation being discovered. That was the day we understood the thrill of our secret bond, yet neither of us chose to pull back. Instead, the danger only intensified the allure. Even now, I find myself uncertain about the duration of this moment. How long can we continue to find solace in our secret connection, weaving through the fabric of untruths? But I realize now that I no longer rely on my old escapes. I'm captivated by Ethan, the essence of him. His friendship held a warmth that beckoned, a soft invitation that stirred something deep within. His presence envelopes me completely, leaving me breathless each time, and I can sense that he feels the same protective pull towards me.